All right, guys, welcome back. Look, this is essentially the first practical step that we undertake with the investors. With you can undertake with yourselves. Okay, we call it the real estate strategy development session. Okay, it's about developing strategy for the investor or yourself, which is kind of like a plan, right? So it's a plan. Basically, essentially speaking, before you go into the market looking for properties, you create a plan for yourself. Now, you might say, well, how can I create a good plan? Because you're not a real estate expert. But then it's not about the perfect plan about real estate and where you're going to be investing. It's more about the plan with respect to your own personal situation. Okay, so because this video is more about investing in an off-plan under construction property, okay, that's what the focus is going to be. Like, I'll make another one for resale properties as well. The plan's going to be around your situation vis-a-vis or as your situation with respect to investing in an off-plan property, okay? So don't be scared. I'm gonna go through all the questions, and then, somewhere there's gonna be a link for you to get all the questions as well, okay? So this is I wanna give you enough value, food for thought, so that you can actually do this yourself, okay? Hopefully you can do this yourself. There'll be some things you'll be missing, but you might be able to do it yourself. Okay, first things first, okay? Number one, get on board the person who is going to be helping you invest in that property. Now, that could be your spouse, it could be a joint project, it could be your brother, it could be friends, whoever it is, you guys need to come together, sit down together. If you're cross-border, then you can do it on Zoom. And what you do is you take a piece of paper, right? You take an empty piece of paper. Okay, and with this piece of paper, on this piece of paper, you write down your complete story. Okay, what do I mean by complete story? A complete story doesn't mean like, a Hollywood, Bollywood story. You just write down your complete background. And I mean everything. Because this information, like, you already have this information in your head, but put it on paper. Your age, your family status, your number of children. You can put the names of your children as well there, right? The ages of your children. Guys, you might, I can feel some people might be resisting. I'm like, why do I need to put the age of my children down there? Guys, listen, there's something therapeutic and worth bringing clarity to your life when you put things down on paper. And I'll give you a small example, okay? Let's say your children are less than 5 years old, like 2 or 3. What's going to happen is you're going to be more open to taking risks, generally speaking. As opposed to if your child is 16 years old and is about to go to university and you're saving this money, and if you're saving a certain amount of money for the child or that son or daughter's education, right? We generally know that universities cost some money and you're saving this money. So you're going to start becoming less risk open to that money, right? So yes, it's probably in your mind and in your brain, but what you want to do is you want to put it on paper, right? Put down how much money you make, what's your life background, all of that. Doesn't have to be tons and tons of stuff, but put on paper before you start answering these questions, okay? And now you start answering some of the questions that, generally speaking, when I'm sitting with an investor, I'll start asking these questions to them, right? So I'll ask them. First, I always start with the general stuff so that we can build to the more specifics, right? You should do the same. Start with the general, build to the more specific stuff. General, I would like to know if this person has actually invested in a property in Dubai. Have you invested in a property in Dubai or the UAE before, right? You might have had a great experience. You might have had Not a great experience. You want to write that down, right? Then we generally ask, or you should be putting down, if you have currently any properties in your portfolio. Why do I ask this and why do you want to write this down? If you have properties in your portfolio, identify them. Okay, so if you've got properties in London, India, Pakistan, Canada, America, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, write down. Why? Because now you're embarking on a journey to invest in Dubai, correct? Why are you doing this? Writing down how your current properties are performing will give you clarity on why Dubai might be good for you, might not be good for you, right? So what you're going to be thinking is, okay, my property in city X gives me rental income of this much. I bought it for this much. The appreciation on the price has been this much. And you might say to yourself, that property is doing very well. Or you might say to yourself, that property is doing very badly, right? The price has not gone up, the rental income is not really great, the taxes are too high, whatever the case might be, right? Also, write down if you've got other investments, right? Crypto, another business, because, at the end of the day, real estate is going to be one avenue of investment in Dubai or the UAE. The other avenues are also those that you are invested in. So it's good for you to have a balanced portfolio in front of you, okay? Now comes the third very important question is, how would you like to improve on the income that you're generating from the properties either that you have or the investments that you currently have? You might be in gold, you might be in something else, you might not be invested at all. It might be sitting as cash in the bank. I'm not going to say at home. Rarely have I ever seen people with their money at home, but it does happen a lot of times. People are sitting with cash in the bank, right? Now, how would you, so this is like the third question, how would you like to improve on that situation? What would you like to do to make things better for yourself when you come into the Dubai market, okay? Then write down your ideal property investment, okay? What's your ideal property investment? Guys, listen, don't be shy at this stage and be like, oh, my ideal property is a mansion that's 9-bedroom villa, but right now, maybe you don't have the money for a 9-bedroom villa. That's okay, don't worry. Don't worry. Write down your ideal property investment, okay? So I want a 1-bedroom. I want something that appreciates very well. I want something that has good quality. I want a great developer. I want a good location. I want rental income for 10 years. I want to pass it on to my family, so on and so forth, right? Then comes your ultimate objective from this investment, okay? What is the absolute ultimate objective that you're wishing to achieve from this investment? Is it money? Is it peace of mind? Is it diversification of income, so reducing the risk and having thus peace of mind? Is it creating a legacy, so on and so forth, okay? What's the ultimate objective of this investment going to be? Now, you might think that these questions are frivolous. Why do I have to answer these? Hey man, you're trying to create a plan for yourself, okay? The more detailed you are with this plan, the more clarity you will have about your intention and your goal, and the more clarity you will be able to seek from the market. Because the market's a little bit noisy, it's a little bit of a jungle sometimes. There's a lot of information that you can get from a lot of sources. So how do you actually make good decisions? Well, be clear before you go to the market yourself, right? And doing this strategy development for yourself is super important, okay? So after you've done what's your ultimate objective, you think about how long would you like to hold on to this property. Any guesses what this means? How long would you like to hold on to this property? Okay, it doesn't mean like how long you want to hold the property. It means when would you like to resell the property? So I get varied answers. Some people, they say, we would like to sell this property if we can book a profit in the first year. Some people, they say, we'd like to hold it for 3 years. Some people, they say, we'd like to hold it for 5 years. Some people, they say, we'd like to hold it for for 10 years and beyond. Think about it. 10 years and beyond. Some people, they say, we never like to sell this property. We just want to hold it forever and ever and ever. And all of that is okay. There is no right and wrong answer, guys. Okay? There is no right and wrong answer. It's okay. All of that's okay. Like, I think if somebody wants to hold the property forever, I don't know, like 100 years, I think that's maybe a long time. Somebody wants to hold the property for 6 months, I don't know, maybe that's a very, very, very short time, right? So, and it's both are okay. You don't have to worry about all this, all that, okay? Then comes, I generally ask, and I'm going to ask you, and you're going to ask yourself as well, what have you seen so far? What did you like? What did you not like? What do you write over there? Basically, you go through with things you may have visited with your friends and family. You might have done some research already on real estate in Dubai. You might have visited with a few brokers. You might have gone to a few developers. Maybe you went into a real estate show, like, you know, just to see how things are. And you might have a certain idea on what you don't like or what you do like, okay? So you might like a certain developer, you might like certain properties, you might have aversion to some things. Just put that down, okay? All of this comes up later on to guide you with clarity, okay? Tenants. Who would you want to be renting your home or apartment? It's good to know, right? Obviously, most people, generally speaking, always tell me like, look, as long as they pay the bills, they pay the rent, we're okay. And in Dubai, you're pretty protected. You don't have to worry too much. But, you know, some people do say that I would like to have families rent my apartment, right? And if you say families, okay, what's the consequence or what's the situation in that? Families generally don't live in studios, right? Not impossible, but generally speaking, right? So generally, if they don't live in studios, then if you want families to be renting your apartment or property, you would avoid studios and even one beds, right? So just put down who you'd like to rent the property. Then what's the goal with the property renting, right? Do you want to create a lot of income? Do you want to do short-term stays? Would you like to stay in the property yourself ever? Like, I don't know, maybe you're from out of town, you'd like to buy a great property, put it on Airbnb, which is short-term rental. And then whenever you're in town, you'd like to use it yourself as well. The dynamics change and you want to put it down now, right? Okay. All right, guys, now we move on to location questions, okay? Now, again, you might think, what do you know about location? But still answer with respect to your preferences. Now, people and their preferences change based on a lot of things. It could be a pure investment. So you're thinking, I would like a very good, everybody wants a good location, right? But you've got to understand that in Dubai, there are different kinds of locations. There's prime, there's central, there is the residential areas, then the outskirts, so to speak, right? All of that, because it's like if you have a macro level view of everything, then all of that is in Dubai. So all of Dubai is, you could consider prime, but then inside Dubai, it's going to be prime areas like downtown, Palm Jumeirah, central areas which are going to become prime later, and our pricings are different in these areas. Residential areas, the pricings are lower, softer, okay? And then you could also, like, now the United Arab Emirates, Dubai is not the only game in town. There is Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, Ajman, Al Quwain. Like, there's at least 5 Emirates that you can actually buy a property in, right? I am not including Fujairah and the other Emirate. It's just skipping it's skipping my mind right now, right? So it's the Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Ras Al Khaimah, Al Quwain, Fujairah. Yeah, there's actually 6 of the Emirates you can buy. Fujairah, I'm not sure if you can buy right now or not, but don't hold me to it, okay? Please do your own research. But then you decide on location, okay? And then why you prefer these locations. Guys, listen, here's the thing. Don't get bogged down into, at this stage, like you can, even if your budget doesn't allow, you can still say, look, I'd like to have downtown location. I'll tell you why. You guys might think, well, no, if somebody's budget doesn't allow, why would they say downtown? I'll tell you why. If you said downtown, there is no harm when you go to the property selection phase for you to actually go to downtown one time. One time. Now, I'm not saying waste tons of time of yours and tons of time of the broker for two reasons. Number one, you could be on the border, like your budget, you think that you can't afford anything in downtown, and all of a sudden you visit and you can. Or you can at least aspire to own in downtown. So if you like residential areas, and the residential areas are also very good, like JVC and so on and so forth, then you put those areas. If you like downtown, put it. Explore it at least one time. So you don't have to be the plan in the beginning is to develop a good skeleton that will give you good guidance towards execution. The plan in the beginning is not the etched in stone, can't be changed strategy. It's to start with something, okay? Why do you prefer these locations? Like, look, if you prefer downtown, be it. So be it. It's okay. Don't worry, okay? What's your ideal location? Look, your ideal location, you might be an Airbnb person, you might be a residential person, you might be looking for great capital appreciation over the next 5 to 10 years. You might look at the outskirts. Don't worry, put it down over here on paper, okay? Do you want a particular view? Okay, what kind of view would you like from your apartment? Now, a lot of times people are going to say, hey, I want the best view. And I'm going to tell you, like, look, it's okay. The best view generally costs the most or is the highest investment. So at this stage though, I'm not going to tell you don't look at the best view. Like, the thing is, there are investment strategies that come into play. Like, for instance, if I was leading you on this, I will tell you, look, the best view and the not so best view of an apartment, the difference can be from 1 million, 1.5 million. So if this side faces Burj Khalifa, this side faces just a road, the difference can actually be 1.5 million dirhams. But if you don't have a landmark around, but you still are facing a park or a open area of a building, okay, as opposed to a not great view, the difference might be 200,000 dirhams, okay? Of course, if you're doing this with us, I'll guide you on this. But at this moment in time, don't be scared. Say I'd like the good view, okay? What's going to happen is, as you go into the market, because I'm going to show you how you then implement this strategy to start selecting properties, right? When you start selecting properties, bless you, you will go and look. You'll have to go once or twice, or at least you'll do some work on the phone, and you'll understand that in the same building, if you talk to a broker, an agent, an apartment might be priced at 3 million dirhams as opposed to 2 million dirhams. Both are one bedrooms. And you'll ask, like, why are you asking for 1 million dirhams extra? And the broker's going to educate you and tell you, look, this is facing Burj Khalifa view. So what's going to happen is your mind started with you wanting Burj Khalifa view will now address you and say, look, there's a little change you need to make in the strategy because your budget, for example, your amount of money that you're allocating doesn't allow for Burj Khalifa view. But don't kill the dream at the planning stage, okay? Go with the dream, because maybe your father has the million dirhams lying around somewhere and you're on great terms with him. He's retired, he's got lots of money, and he's like, he says to you, Fahd, take the extra million, buy the apartment you want. Don't worry about it, okay? Just, cut me into the profits. Okay? So don't worry about it, okay? And then there's a lot of arguments. Like, you can argue and debate till the cows come home. For example, if you had great view facing Burj Khalifa in a tower, everything else is the same, right? The tower location's the same. The amenities in the tower, the building's the same. The developer is the same. The quality is the same. The floor might be different, but everything else is the same. You share the same elevator with the guy who lives in an apartment that doesn't have the great view, right? So now when you bring a tenant in, now I'm just giving you some background information. If you bring a tenant in and you say to the tenant, you've got to pay for a 1-bedroom, let's say the average rent in that apartment is, let's say $100,000. Just giving you an idea. For that view facing Burj Khalifa, you're not going to be able to charge him double and say, your rent's going to be $200,000. He's going to look at all the other apartments in the building and he's going to be like, hold on, I can get the same apartment, so I can't get the view, but I can get it for $100,000. You can't double the rent, okay? You can probably go 30% higher maybe, okay? In some good case scenarios, 40 to 50%, very good case scenarios. Generally speaking, when the average market's like just soft, you're probably about 10 to 20% higher, right? So you've got to keep that in mind. Like if you pay $1 million more for a great view, you're not getting that $1 million back instantly, but you might be happy, okay? What else is important about the location? Anything else you feel like coming into your mind? Put it on paper. Guys, don't have AI answer these questions for you, because AI doesn't know you. Unless you've got a prompt where AI knows you very well, and then you can put these questions in there. You want to answer these questions yourself, even if you're just taking notes and penciling it, okay? All right. Then we talk about the property information, okay? When do you want the property to be built or be ready for handover, okay? Here's the thing. If the property is going to be off-plan, you can have different kind of off-plans that you're buying, okay? The property could be ready in 5 years. Believe it or not, there are certain situations in Dubai that the property is going to get delivered in 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. The only difference is properties that are going to be delivered within 2 years means that they were launched a little bit earlier, which means that they started construction earlier. That's fine. You want to put it on paper. How long would you like to wait? The what do you call it? The give and take on this is, if you buy at the earliest period, your payments are stretched over 3 years or 4 years, so you're paying less money. If you come closer to handover, you're gonna have to pay more money, because you're gonna have to come up to speed with the payment, right? Does that make sense? Hope it makes sense. Let's talk about the quality of the building that you're looking for. Now, here's the kicker. If I ask you what kind of quality you're looking for, almost everybody, I think the word is synonymous. Everybody's going to say, I want the best quality, right? Okay, duh, like there's no doubt about that. Just know that with the level of quality that you get comes the level of pricing, okay? Now, granted that in the Dubai market, quality varies, and you're not going to be able to assess quality in a very easy, quick way. I'm going to tell you how to assess quality in the property selection phase. But regardless of this, you should be aiming for good quality, high quality if your money and budget allows you, and high quality if you've got some help so that you can find some good deals as well, okay? Let's talk about the property structure exterior. What size property are you looking for? Okay, so obviously the size, you can put down what size you're looking for. So let's say if you're looking for a 1-bedroom and you think that it should be 800 square feet, it's okay, put it down. Generally, 1-bedrooms in Dubai today are not 800 square feet. Some cases they are. They're generally less. So they're like 700, 750, 730. In some cases, 878, 890, 830 square feet. Sometimes 630, 690, sometimes even 550 square feet, right? But put down here what you're looking for, okay? How tall a building do you want it to be? Okay, so sometimes if you're looking for an apartment, how tall a building do you want it to be? It could be 80 floors, 60 floors, 70 floors, 50 floors, 4 floors, 5 floors. Put it down, right? Because it helps you when you're selecting properties. If you wrote down here, hey, listen, I want like low-rise buildings. I don't, and it doesn't matter. You might be thinking like, why does it care? I'm not gonna live there. But it does matter. Like, no, not why does it care? Why does it matter? I'm not gonna live there. It does matter because people have an emotional proclivity to what they like. And when it comes to high rise, low rise, I kind of encourage it. Like, what you like would be good to buy that. Why not? I'll tell you why. If you are a person who likes low rise apartments or buildings like ground plus 5, ground plus 8, like ground and then 8 floors. So if you have a proclivity towards, I want ground floor and then 4 floors, it's just that your heart feels nice about it, you will like the apartment that you'll buy, and your tenant will also like it. Now, this is not to say that when you go start looking in the market, this will be in the property selection phase, you should completely eradicate or eliminate anything that's ground plus 20 floors or 40 floors. Some good deals are in the 60 floor towers, right? So it's okay. But what kind of apartment would you like, or how many stories or floors does that building have? You can actually think about it and write it down now. Also, should your apartment have a balcony and a terrace? 98% of the time, yes. It is very rarely that a deal is so good that an apartment does not have a balcony, especially if you're buying off plan. Let's say like you're getting like a $50,000 discount without the balcony, you might consider it, okay? Let's talk about property interior. What kind of floor plan do you prefer? You can write down what kind of floor plan you prefer. Open, lots of sunlight coming in, good windows, good balcony, uninterrupted view, right, from the balcony. Clean cut apartments, none of the, like, maybe you don't like round buildings, so put down that stuff. What's your likes and dislikes about the interior of a property? You can put this down. Some people don't like small windows. Some people don't like that the master bedroom does not have a balcony. Some people don't care about it. Put it down. It's okay. Developer, right? The brand of developer and why. Again, put it down. What you put down here is not the holy grail etched in stone. First of all, there's maybe about 200 developers in Dubai. If you're not locally experienced, probably don't know which developers are good and which are not good. But you'll probably have heard some names, and you'll know some of them which are good. Some of them you might have heard not so great things about, whatever. Put them down here, because as you go through the process, it helps you eliminate, shorten, qualify, and other brokers will give you advice as well. Like when you're working with us, we'll give you advice. Okay. How many bedrooms should your investment property have? It could be a studio, 1 bed, 2 bed, 3 bed, 4 bed. Could be a 5-bed villa, 6-bed villa, so on and so forth. How many bathrooms? How many bathrooms do you prefer? Kitchen, open plan, closed plan. If a villa, what's your preferences? Plot size, so on and so forth. Okay. Then now you come to the, I would say it's a very critical part, but leave it to the end, because lots of people go into the market with like 5 things. I want to buy a 1-bedroom. This is the amount of money I want to spend. Okay. This is the amount of money I want to spend. That's about it, actually, these 2 things. And then they start calling brokers, talking to them, and you've created no plan for yourself. You've got no areas identified in Dubai, and now you're just going through like, I don't know, like 20 places. And while I've said like keep the plan open-ended, you can't keep it so open-ended that you would go and look at 20 places in Dubai. That's a waste of your time, okay? And it's going to confuse you more, and you'll never be able to make a good decision, right? So you got to make the plan a little open, but not too open, right? and but still identify your desires and wants beyond just the two questions. How much money do I have in my pocket? And how many bedrooms I want? Go a little bit more detail with the questions that I've explained you can answer, okay? Now you look at how much money are you looking to allocate on the investment, and you answer two things. How much you can pay as a down payment today, and then how much money can you pay on a monthly basis? What do I mean by a monthly basis? So let's say as a down payment you pay $200,000, okay, or $2 million or whatever the case is. How much can you actually pay on a monthly basis so that you can actually pay the payment plan as the construction comes up, okay? Describe your own financial situation for suitability purposes. What is your current financial situation right now? Do you have money sitting in crypto? You want to redeploy it, so on and so forth. If you need financing approval, have you spoken to a bank, gone to some Islamic banks to see what kind of approval you might be able to get? And then also, would this property be under joint ownership, right? Would it be under your name and your spouse's name? There are no advantages or disadvantages either way, okay? It's just something that both of them are okay. It can be under your name only, it can be you and your spouse, it can be in only your spouse's name. All of that works very well, okay? Obviously, if you're working with an advisor, they'll explain to you how to manage it when two people own a property, so on and so forth. But none of that really has an advantage on one way or the other, okay? But it's good to know now, right? It's good to know because I'll tell you why. As you go through the property purchase situation, what's going to happen, you're going to see a lot of times you do the property purchase, and after all the documentation's been completed, you decide, like, I'd like to put this in my wife's name. Well, okay, but it's going to cost you about $10,000 to do that. And the fees vary depending on the property price, right? It could cost you $10,000 to $15,000. And do you really want to do that? And if you want to incur that cost, that's fine, right? Guys, in the end, what you do is bring together, look through your notes, and then whittle down, bring down to the top 5 things that your property must have, okay? So if I was answering your questions, let's say you were working with me, let's say I said that I want great capital appreciation, good rental income, good quality, okay? Good location, that is something that you can afford with the money that you have, and a great developer, okay? For example, okay? These 5 things you're saying you should have. Now, here's the thing, you're going to tell me or ask me and say, okay, I said great developer or a good developer. Let's say I put them down here, right? I put them down here, okay? And I highlight them as well, okay? Now, you'll probably say to me, how will I know if this developer is good or not good? First of all, you may not know, but the fact that you've identified that you want a good top-tier developer will help you ask the right questions to the agents and the brokers and the sales staff that you meet. And I'll give you an example, guys. And then during the property section, I'll explain this to you. What is... they say the proof is in the pudding. And I'll just answer this developer question. What's one way to know that somebody is going to be really, really good with the way they're going to do something? It's to look at their past history, right? So if they've done good developments in Dubai, you will know that they are a good, decent developer, which means that they will deliver good things in the future as well. So when you're looking at a developer and you're buying off plan, one very quick litmus test is just to ask how many buildings they've delivered. And then go and visit them, right? And you'll see how good they are, and it'll answer a lot of questions, right? But start with that as part of your plan, and then you'll be able to implement it later, okay? This was part 2 of the entire system getting implemented. It's basically to help you, guide you step by step. Hope these videos help. And then part 3 is going to be about how to select a property, going into the property selection phase based on the strategy, okay? Remember to hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon. Obviously, if you want to work with us, there's a link somewhere here. You can click it, you can work with us, and we'll implement this system for you, help you buy the best exceptional property in Dubai. Would love to hear from you in the comment section so we can make more videos. I'm just trying to give this information away for free to help people, okay? All right, bye for now.